Hello, Libra. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. All right, Libra, I really like this. I think that for a lot of you right now, you need to start thinking about your creative projects or thinking about starting one right now and getting it out there. So, creator, catalyst, maker, mother, father, and then you have thinker. Now, creator is going to be like the empress. It's saying that you have the ability to bring to life a new project. And it's saying that it's going to create new opportunities for you. Now, when you look at it with thinker is talking about strategy, being analytical and logical, but it's also saying that you shouldn't overthink things. Maybe the simplest answer is the right one, because it does talk about analysis paralysis, overthinking or second guessing. Now, if you've been losing love for a project or something that you are wanting to start here, it's saying that you need to go back to the simple thought, the simple emotions, how easy it was before for you to go ahead and get involved with this. But I think it's more about you needing to get a project out there. One of the things that Creator talks about is that this is something you should be sharing with the world, right? Now, for those of you who are not doing anything creative, now is the time for you to start thinking about that. There is something that you are needing to create in your life. Now, for others, if you are an artist, if you are a musician, or if you're a writer, whatever the case may be there, this is you needing to really start to think about how you're going to get that project out there. And what was interesting here is that Moonology kind of backs that up here. So you have the full moon in Taurus. Your dreams need a practical plan. And again, right, strategy. Now, the first thing that it says is write down 10 things that you know are wonderful about you. And I think that that's great, right? Affirmation. But then it starts going into laziness could explain your current situation. If so, change that and own it. So if you've been getting lazy when it comes to things that you're wanting to create, now is the time to kick yourself in the butt and get going again, right? It says chasing money doesn't work. You need to chase a dream. And then it says jealousy and envy creates negative energy and attracts negativity. And then it says more exercise is called for. Well, I mean, that could be true for a lot of us, right? But your dreams need a practical plan. Thinker, strategy. We need to come up with a strategy here and a practical plan for what you are wanting to create. The Six of Swords. Okay, so with this being the overall, there's something that you're going to have to move on from, right? I always look at the Six of Swords as we need to move on from anything that is conflicting in our lives. Now, this could be that you are needing to figure out how to move on from a difficult situation. This Six of Swords is interesting to me because you have the two that are in front of you, but then this person is carrying the rest of it, right? So it may be one of those things where you're just kind of dealing with a little bit at a time here and trying to move on. But we'll see. We'll see how the Six of Swords is playing out here. Okay. In the past, the Fool. Now, this can show that you may have jumped headfirst into something and maybe things didn't exactly work out the greatest. But the thing is right, the Fool would suggest that, when you take that leap of faith, you're going to land on your feet. But this is needing to be prepared for whatever happens, whatever comes your way, right? Unfortunately, because of the Six of Swords, there are some things that, you're going to have to leave behind that aren't exactly working for you, right? But yeah, so, and I don't think that this is about you looking at, well, something's too much of a risk. No, I think that you fully went into something here, and now we're needing to kind of like move on from what's not working. Okay. All right. The Three of Wands in the present moment. I'm immediately interested in what's going on in your environment because this to me looks like I went head first into this, but I'm still waiting to see something here. I'm waiting for somebody to do something. There is the expectation there, though, with the Three of Wands. But you've done what you needed to do, and that's the thing. You're not going to take any further action here until you see something start to happen, or you're waiting to see how things are going to develop. But we're still looking at the Six of Swords here as the overall. So I'm wondering on, what the expectation is. Okay. And that may be why We're looking at that as the overall. So the Two of Pentacles. So you're continuing to try to figure this out, right? It's still something that you're keeping in play here. I don't think that we're talking about finances. Now, it may be that if nothing is developing or nothing is happening, it may be that, you're needing to balance out your finances here to be able to move on to something different with the Six of Swords. But I kind of look at this as, I'm still waiting, right? But you're not making a choice here to let go of what is not working out, what is not developing, what isn't showing you anything. But you went all in. You went all in. There was no issue with that. You were just, okay. And it's a brand new path in your life, right? But I want to see what's here. Oh, wow, man. Your best path to follow of the Moon. Now, I think that this is saying that, first of all, you have the fear, the anxiety, the illusion here, not facing fears and anxieties, right? With the Moon, projecting unrealistic fears and anxieties onto things. But I think that for a lot of you, you may have been in this place of, I don't understand. Like, I'm confused. I don't get it. I, knew that this was something that I needed to jump into, but I'm not understanding. This may be that you need to face the truth that maybe something was not what it appeared to be. And now it's time to move on. Once you face the truth or you see things for what they really are, maybe that's what's going to make it easier for you to move on. But the thing is with the Two of Pentacles and future conditions, you're not really doing that. You're still like, I can figure this out. I don't want to let go of this just yet. I got to keep it going, right? But the Moon would say that, no, it's not what it was, or not what you thought it was going to be, unfortunately. But this is something that needs to be faced, right? The Seven of Cups. Okay. Yeah. Wow, man, that takes extreme faith. Extreme faith. The problem is with the Seven of Cups, when I look at that, a lot of times the person in this card doesn't really see what the best option is for them. Now, this could be, though, about something that you looked at as maybe, at some point it wasn't realistic, or we're talking about you taking a leap of faith on somebody else here who wasn't really willing to make fantasy reality. It does show somebody who is, content to dream about things and not act on them. But there's always that emotional attachment to a specific outcome. If that's the case and that's what you're expecting and you're not seeing it, is it time to face the truth of that, right? Like, maybe that isn't realistic. Maybe it's not going to turn out that way. Or maybe somebody is not going to do what you had expected them to. But you're still in this place of trying to figure it out. But, you went head first into something that, it's like you could see how good it could be, but it's not turning out that way because you're the Three of Wands here, still like waiting for that to show up. Like, what the hell? I'm ready to continue here. I want to get to that Four of Wands. Why is it not working out? But that may not be your fault, because we're talking about something that was not the way it appeared to be. And it's like doubled here. Wow, man. Your hopes and your fears, the Two of Swords. And again, right, like needing to make the decision here that you don't want to have to make, that, I went full force with this. It's not working out the way that I had envisioned. I don't want to let it go just yet. But you're moving into a place where I think that that you can't ignore this anymore, that maybe it's time to make the difficult choice to say, okay, enough is enough. It's not worth you continuing to be in this place of, I'm still waiting, like I'm still waiting for you, or I'm still waiting for this, But it's not your fault, though, because I'm looking at this as like the illusion was cast on you that made you think, oh yeah, and then you're the fool. But you're the one that's kind of left hanging, But yeah, I'd say with the Two of Swords, you realize that there's going to have to be a choice made here, and that you can't really ignore the truth anymore. Okay, and then coming out, the King of Wands. Now, here's what I don't like. Because I feel like this is going to be the outside influence, right? But I also think that in terms of you, because of you being the Three of Wands in the present moment. If you are the King of Wands in this situation, whether you're male or female, this is going to be like lesson learned, right? There's experience that's been gained here, and you know what you need to act toward, and you know what you need to cut out of your life, and what's not going to develop the way that you expect it to. But this could definitely indicate someone here that is affecting the outcome. Are they the reason why you're in this place of like, okay, I'm going to be flexible here for you, right? Even though you're not fulfilling. And the thing is unfortunately, because I go back to this being your advice, something is not what it appears to be. Someone is not who they appear to be. Now, typically with the King of Wands, it can show somebody that we have an attraction to, right? This is going to be for the Libras out there that are dealing with a person here that things didn't go so well with. This could literally show that with the Fool and the Ten of Swords, that this just kind of fell flat. You know, and I also look at this as the situation is coming to an end in a really difficult way here. And you may be a little bit, I want to say, like, I feel like I'm angry at the fact that it's ending this way. Now, it could be, though, this person who is ending things for you in this way, and it's really difficult and it's really painful because you were the Fool and you had faith in this person. You had faith in their vision and it became your vision, but nothing ever developed out of this, right? Now, unfortunately, though, with the Hangman, is this one of those things where they're like, wait a minute, you know, I want you to see things differently. Are you putting your life on hold here because you still think that maybe what you thought was going to happen is going to develop? But believe me when I tell you, for those of you who are dealing with a person like this, they have no intention of actually following through. Now, with the Four of Wands coming out, the problem is that I am not, because of the Six of Swords, I'm looking at this in like the reverse here, because the thing is you don't move from the Hangman to the Four of Wands all of a sudden where there's this accomplishment. I think that this person is creating instability. It may be one of those situations where this is somebody that you may need to cut out of your life. They're not in a place where they're willing to do what's necessary to realize what, you know, you and them have been envisioning here with the Seven of Cups. And it's unfortunate because I think that you're in a place here with the Two of Pentacles where you think that if you continue to keep this going, that you're going to get to a place where you feel like you've made an accomplishment with this person. But they may be causing you to be putting your life on hold because you think, well, I just need to hold on here. Maybe there is something different to see here. But I have to bring you back to the Moon and the fact that the Six of Swords is your overall here. We need to move on from the illusion. We need to move on from what is not realistic. We need to look at what is realistically going to happen out of this situation. But is that the Ten of Swords? Or is that you looking at the situation going, I don't want it to end this way, but I think that some of you are realizing that if this continues, that is how it's going to end. But the thing is with the Hangman, I think that that's them not wanting that to happen. But the thing is like I said, I don't know that you're reaching this place of the Four of Wands with this person in particular. I think that if you move on, you're going to have an accomplishment. Some of you may be moving on to a different place in your life where you're building things for yourself. And that's, I say that because of the Ten of Swords and looking at the Moon. Now, for some of you, right, if this doesn't have to do with another person and it's about wisdom being gained, this is, I am no longer going to get myself involved in situations that, you know, I end up falling on my face, right? Where you're the Fool coming in and then you're looking at the situation as the Ten of Swords. I went through a situation that ended in a really difficult way. The Three of Wands can indicate that you're putting yourself out there in a different way. But the Hangman, nothing is really happening here. And you know you need to move on from something instead of trying to keep it in play because it's not realistic. You know, but do you reach an accomplishment here where you're doing things for yourself in a different way? When you reconnect with the voice of your own soul, there is going to be a renewal that happens for you and you're going to have better balance. But you need to reconnect with what your soul truly wants. But I like it. I like it that, there's going to be more balance that comes in, but I think that you realize that there's going to have to be a difficult choice to either cut something or someone out. But I think that this is different. This is different than what we're talking about with the oracle cards. And and it's funny because this is something that I've been saying consistently, it seems like these past couple of weeks. How different would your life be if you weren't focused on a particular situation that isn't working out, or a person that things are not working out with? If you stop placing your focus on that, how different would your life be? And is that where we're moving into, you needing to focus on something that you are wanting to create, right? The heart of the matter, there's more going on than meets the eye. Recognize what this is all about, and then love makes the difference. Love can help heal past hurts and provides a sense of security, self-worth, and importance. Understanding what's really going on here, seeing the truth, seeing clarity, absolutely, especially with the moon being your advice here. But then choosing to love yourself and heal any kind of hurt that's going to be involved with this person, this situation. But again, like, I see you moving on, moving on. I think that there's something else that you should be focused on, Libra, seriously. I think that there is a part of you that is not being expressed, and that may be because you're keeping yourself in this place of trying to figure things out with, like I said, someone or something here. But I think that you're realizing that you're going to have to move on from this, that what you expected is not what is going to show up. And I don't think that you are dealing with somebody that is going to, fulfill this want to have stability here. I think that this may be something that you're needing to find on your own. And that may be the heart of the matter here. But we need to see what is real, not the illusion that's being cast over something or someone.